Hi everyone. Most car screens add space by making the display wider. This one added space by removing the walls inside it. In a typical cockpit interface, each app owns a rectangle, its own background, its own border, its own contained zone. That structure gives you clarity, but it also divides the screen into separate visual walls that sit next to each other without connecting. What this interface does is remove that separation entirely. The rolled view doesn't own a section of the screen. It becomes the surface the entire screen sits on. And everything else is placed above it at different depths. There are no zones, no borders, no background panels, just layers. The result is a screen that feels open rather than divided, because spatially it is. You are looking through layers of information at a single continuous space, rather than scanning across a row of separate containers. So the question is, how that spatial model actually holds together without borders to define it. The rolled view stops owning a rectangle and becomes the floor of the entire screen instead, with everything else, speed, music, time, floating above it at different depths. And because of that shift, individual components no longer need their own background surfaces, since the rolled layer is already providing the foundation. That's why the music panel looks almost weightless. It carries information but nothing else. So you read it the way you read a rolled sign, as something that belongs to the environment you're already in, rather than something placed on top of it. But here's what's worth paying attention to. Removing the boards doesn't mean removing the hierarchy. The interface still needs to communicate what's more important and what's less important. In the traditional layout, borders and background panels do that work. They group things, contain them, and signal ownership. When you took those away, something else has to take over. And in this design, and that something is depth. Components closer to the surface carry more immediate information, while things further back recede into the environment. Your eyes naturally read depths before they read color, so the hierarchy still works. It just operates through space instead of through walls. When you look at the light and dark versions side by side, the colors are completely different, but the structure underneath is identical. With the road on the bottom and everything floating above it with no containers anywhere, the immersion holds across both scenes because it was never built into the color. It was built into the layer model before any color was chosen. That's what separates a structure decision from a style decision. Style can change without breaking anything, but structure is what determines whether the screen competes with the road or becomes part of it. I'm Paxton. I share automotive UX and intelligent cockpit design analysis here. If you have any thoughts or examples you want me to discuss, leave a comment. And if this topic interests you, welcome to subscribe.